Okay, now in this particular class we'll be studying about how to convert a galvanometer into ammeter and voltmeter. See, we have already studied for a galvanometer. It's a very sensitive device. It can measure currents in the order of milli and microamps. So what would happen if you pass large currents through galvanometer? The needle will get struck on one side. Okay, when you pass large currents, galvanometer will get damaged. The spring will be twisted too high that it cannot come back to its initial or a restoring position. So therefore, when you have to measure high magnitudes of current, say milliamps or in amperes range, we have to make some modifications in galvanometer. So let us see how we have to convert a galvanometer into ammeter. So for converting a galvanometer into ammeter, I will represent the galvanometer by G. Its resistance is G. Okay, we know this is your device. To convert a galvanometer into ammeter, we add one extra resistance in parallel to it, and this additional resistance is called shunt. I repeat, for converting a galvanometer into an ammeter, first we have to protect the galvanometer from large currents. So to protect it from large currents, to this galvanometer whose resistance is G, we have to add a low resistance shunt. Okay, shunt is an additional resistance what I have added in parallel to it. Now see what would happen to the total current. See, we are sending a total current I. After reaching this junction, it is divided. Since you are adding a low resistance shunt, most of the current will pass through the shunt. I will call the shunt current as IS. The remaining current will pass through galvanometer. I will represent this as IG. Now see, is this galvanometer getting a small magnitude of current? Because most of the current was passing through the shunt. And this current is sufficient for producing a deflection in the galvanometer. So this whole device, a galvanometer along with a low resistance shunt in parallel, can behave as an ammeter. But before that, we have to calibrate the readings. We know galvanometer will deflect. Okay, the first step is, we know galvanometer when we have manufactured it, this was a semicircular scale, 0 was at the center, needle was pointing out towards center. Then when there is a current in one direction, galvanometer needle will deflect this side. If you reverse the current, deflection will go in opposite direction. But to construct it or to make it into an ammeter, first what we do is locate the position of the needle, change the position of the needle to one corner. That means don't start it from the center, start the readings from one corner. That means the needle is fixed on one corner. Whenever there is a current, galvanometer or ammeter will deflect on the opposite side. Okay, now I have to calibrate the readings. That means mark these values. Okay, we know galvanometer is deflecting because of IG, but it has to indicate the values of I. So whatever readings were there, we have to erase it and mark the readings of the total current. Again I am repeating, galvanometer actually deflects because of the current IG. Though it is deflecting because of IG, we will mark the readings here according to this value of I. This itself is called calibration. So let's see how to calibrate the ammeter. To calibrate this ammeter, we know these two branches are in parallel combination. And whenever two resistors are in parallel, the potential difference between A and B should be same as potential difference between C and D. How to write the potential difference? Current into resistance, Ig into G, should be equal to voltage across C and D is Is into S. Now can we write V as total current into total resistance? What is the total current? I. Total resistance of this galvanometer is G into S by G plus S, which is equal to Ig into G, which is also equal to Is into S. So this formula we will be making use of for calibrating the readings of galvanometer. Okay, let us look at some example. Say your galvanometer shows a maximum deflection for a current of say 0.1 ampere. Okay, I am just taking an example. We have taken a galvanometer which gives a maximum deflection. Say there are 50 divisions or 20 divisions, whatever, depending on the construction. It gives a maximum deflection for a current of 0.1 ampere. Suppose you want to convert this galvanometer into an ammeter which can measure a maximum current of 1 ampere. Again I am repeating, galvanometer is actually deflecting for a current of 0.1 ampere, the maximum measurement. We want to convert it into an ammeter of 1 ampere. Then the first question is, what shunt should I add across this galvanometer? Say galvanometer resistance, I am taking it as 50 ohms. The values will be given to you. This is an example. First calculate what shunt should I add across the galvanometer so that you can convert it from a 0.1 ampere range, 0 to 0.1 ampere range to 0 to 1 ampere range. For that, I will be making use of this relation. Use this relation and find out what should be the shunt. We know Ig into G, 0.1 into 50, Ig into G should be equal to total current into Gs by G plus S. Substitute the given values. Ig is 0.1 into 50 is total ampere range, we have taken 0 to 1 ampere. G I am keeping it as 50 into S by 50 plus S. 50 and 50 gets cancelled, cross multiply. 5 plus 0.1 S is S, or 5 is equal to 1 minus 0.1, 0.9 S, or what is the shunt resistance? 50 by 9. So what shunt should be added to convert a galvanometer of 0 to 0.1 ampere range to 0 to 1 ampere range? Did we get the shunt as 50 by 9? And once you know the shunt, you can calibrate the readings. This is how you can convert a galvanometer into ammeter. Again, I am repeating the points. What are the points to remember? If you are converting a galvanometer into an ammeter, step 1, connect a load. Okay. To sum up, what are the points to remember when you are converting a galvanometer into ammeter? To convert a galvanometer into an ammeter, add a low resistance shunt in parallel to it. Depending on the range of your ammeter, use this formula, calculate what shunt has to be added. Second step, position of the needle has to be changed and you have to calibrate the readings which are on the galvanometer. So after doing this, we get an ammeter of a proper range. And remember, always ammeter is connected in series in external circuits. Say suppose I have taken one EMF with internal resistance and this is an external resistor. You have to always connect an ammeter in series to measure the current in it. Therefore, the total resistance of the ammeter, what is the total resistance of ammeter? Gs by G plus S should be very, very low. Okay, so that it does not disturb your existing circuit. Adding this ammeter should not add a very large resistance to the circuit. So what should be the total resistance of the ammeter? It should be as low as possible. For an ideal ammeter, ideal things do not exist. Okay, if your ammeter is ideal, its total resistance will be 0. Practically it is not exactly possible. It can have very low value compared to R plus R. But ideal ammeters will have 0 resistance. Okay, we know ideal things actually do not exist. Ammeter is always connected in series. An ideal ammeter offers very low 0 resistance. Then it is always connected in series in an external circuit obtained by adding a low resistance shunt in parallel to galvanometer. So these are the points that you have to remember regarding ammeter. Now let us see how to convert a galvanometer into voltmeter. Okay, we know voltmeter is a voltage measuring device used for measuring the potential difference or the terminal voltage. See, to convert a galvanometer into voltmeter, look at what changes we have to make. See, we have seen in ammeter we have added a low resistance shunt in parallel. Whereas coming to an voltmeter, it is obtained by adding a high resistance shunt. Previously it was a low resistance. Now we are adding a high resistance shunt in series with galvanometer. Now this whole device will behave as an voltmeter. Now when you add a high resistance shunt in series, the current which is passing through it will obviously be very less because total resistance of this circuit has become very high. High resistance will attract very low currents, and that low current is sufficient for producing a deflection in the galvanometer. Then how do we calibrate it? We know voltage is current into resistance. Current is Ig. Total resistance of this device is G plus. Okay, let us take an example. Say I want to convert this galvanometer whose resistance is say 50 ohms. The maximum current that can pass through galvanometer, I am taking very small, 0.01 ampere, just an example. I want to convert it into an voltmeter of 0 to 5 ohm range. Then what should be the shunt resistance? Put all the values in V. We want the voltage measured to be 5 ohms, should be Ig 0.01. Galvanometer resistance, I took it as 50, but actual values will be much lesser than this, plus S. Simplify, 500, 5 by 0.01 should be 50 plus S. What is S coming out to be? 450 ohms. So what shunt has to be added in series to convert a galvanometer into an voltmeter of 0 to 5 volts range? It is 450 ohms. Then again calibrate the measurements. It is actually deflecting for Ig. Erase the values of Ig, mark the values of V. So it will indirectly indicate the potential difference instead of indicating the values of Ig. This is how you can convert a galvanometer into a voltmeter by adding a high resistance shunt in series. For ammeter it is low resistance in parallel, and for galvanometer, for voltmeter, it is a high resistance shunt in series. Then how will you connect this voltmeter? We know voltmeter is used for measuring the potential difference. For measuring the potential difference, we always add it in parallel combination. So if I want the potential difference across this resistor, we will have to connect the voltmeter in parallel. Ammeter should be in series, voltmeter should be in parallel. Since this is a high resistance device, it will not disturb the total current. Okay, the total current is I. Most of the current will pass through the main circuit. A very small current will enter the voltmeter, and which is sufficient to produce a deflection. So why is it necessary to add a high resistance? So that even if you add an voltmeter, you don't alter the resistance by a large value. A very small change in resistance is observed. So what is the ideal voltmeter's resistance? An ideal voltmeter will offer infinite resistance. Ideal ammeter should offer zero resistance, whereas ideal voltmeter has to offer infinite resistance. We know ideal things do not exist, but just to know what is an ideal voltmeter or ideal ammeter. So voltmeter is always connected in parallel combination, ammeter is always connected in series. But adding voltmeter and ammeter should not produce any change in your main circuit. Okay, major changes should not be produced. So this is how you can convert a galvanometer into two different measuring devices. Like in the previous class, we have discussed about sensitivity. What is current sensitivity of a galvanometer? Phi by I, which is BAN divided by K. This is called current sensitivity. Now coming to voltage sensitivity. The deflection produced per unit potential difference, phi by V. This is called voltage sensitivity. How to get the voltage sensitivity? BAN by K. If I multiply this with resistance, we know I into R will give you potential difference. So here I will write the resistance, where R is the resistance of the complete device. So this ratio, deflection per unit potential difference, which is BAN by K into R, is called voltage sensitivity. Okay, remember these two definitions. Current sensitivity is phi by I, voltage sensitivity is phi divided by V. Regarding voltage sensitivity and current sensitivity, remember one very important point. It is said that increase in current sensitivity may not increase the voltage sensitivity. Okay, looking at the equations, you feel if current sensitivity increases, voltage sensitivity also will increase. But it is said that increase in current sensitivity may not increase the voltage sensitivity. Okay, let us see why is it so. See, suppose you have increase in the magnetic field. Current sensitivity increases, voltage sensitivity also will increase. If you increase the area of the coil, both will increase. But if you increase the number of turns, see, the moment you have increased the number of turns, resistance also will increase. Say I have doubled the number of turns in a galvanometer. N has become 2N. Then R will increase to 2R. Because as the length of the wire increases, resistance also will increase. See, I have increased the number of turns to 2 times. Will there be an increase in current sensitivity? Yes, BA into 2N divided by K. But will there be any increase in voltage sensitivity? Check out. BA, N has become 2N, R also has become 2R. Ratio between them will get cancelled. There is no change in voltage sensitivity. So remember this point. It is not necessary that every time current sensitivity increases, voltage sensitivity has to increase. If you increase the number of turns, current sensitivity will increase, but voltage sensitivity does not increase. So this is a 1-mark question very often asked. So remember these points for converting a galvanometer into ammeter and voltmeter.